Nuance with Nikki, the nitty gritty, even if it's shitty. This is going to be an adult conversation, one that I'm going to find incredibly uncomfortable. A video has come across my social media, which I feel I need to share for ethical reasons. Now, for legal reasons, because ethics and legality aren't the same thing, I do have to tell you that I cannot verify the truth of this. However, as a woman, I'm telling you, I do believe the story, and that I stand by this woman, and that if what she's saying is true, she deserves to be heard, and she deserves our support. And what we're not going to do over here is be silent about such, because this is the safety of our children, and no precedent like this can be set in a country with this level of teen pregnancy, with a country with this level of, power imbalances, sometimes between men and young girls. We're not about to be silent about this, okay? So let's expose it. Let's make South Africa a hostile environment for sexual abusers, right? I do trust that the rule of law will be followed in everything in terms of checking out what's happening to him, okay? So let's hear the story. I have not finished the video. I am going to translate it to you to the best of my ability. I am English dominant. Afrikaans is not my first language, so I may make a mistake here or there. Feel free to correct me in the comments. If you do believe her and support her, let her know in the comments too. So she's saying on her video, the sexual harassment case has been finalized in November 2024. He was addressed and instructed to keep his distance and to refrain from behavior like this. No one addressed his wife for handling the case the way she did. The employment case is being investigated. Let's listen.
Fail julle albei circuit manager eers. Fail julle albei circuit manager en die prinsipaal met my.
Okay, first you both failed. A certain manager and the principal failed me.
My sexual harassment case.
You failed me with my sexual harassment case.
Tweedens, met my werkcase.
Secondly, with my work case.
En weet julle wat is so die eerste van alles? Hierdie prinsipaal het hierdie briefie 7de November gekry toe. Wanneer kry ek?
So, do you know what's worse about this? This principal got the letter on the 7th of November.
Tweedens, met my werkcase. En weet julle wat is so die eerste van alles? Hierdie prinsipaal het hierdie briefie 7de November gekry toe. Wanneer kry ek die brief? 3 Desember 2024.
So when did I get the letter? The 3rd of December 2024.
'n maand later van wat sy al weet.
A month after she already knew. And the note on the thing says, teachers who were employed at the school after me became permanent before I could. How? I reapplied again for conversion, but it declined because suddenly the vacant post was in since 2022. Suddenly the vacant post I was in since 2022 is no longer vacant. Who is in my post?
En elke dag het ek gegaan en gaan vra, juffrou, ek wil weet hoe lyk die status van my permanency. Die juffrou nog niks gehoor nie. Dan lieg die vrou blaatant in my gesig en sê.
She says, every day I went to ask her, ma'am, I'd like to know about my employment status. And she says, that woman lied to my face blatantly.
Ek het nog niks gehoor nie. Ek bel maar hulle sê niks.
Oh, I haven't heard anything. I'm phoning, but they say nothing.
Maar sy het vir 'n volle maand geweet.
But she knew for a full month.
'n Volle maand waar ek die kans kon gehad het om my werk terug te kry, om te fight.
A full month where I didn't have a chance to get my work back, to fight for
my werk, om
to fight for my work,
verdere hulp te soek.
to look for more help.
Sy het gewag tot op die punt waar ek die situasie kan red, waar ek op die punt is waar ek nou.
She waited until the point where I cannot rectify the situation. I'm at the point where now
Om te fight vir my werk, om verdere hulp te soek. Sy het gewag tot op die punt waar ek die situasie kan red, waar ek op die punt is waar ek nou is, rigtingloos vir 2025.
I'm at the point where I am completely aimless for 25.
Geen werk,
No work,
geen planne.
no plans.
Ek is net hier so, ek
I'm just here.
wag net.
I'm just waiting.
Ek wag op 'n antwoord. Ek wag
I'm waiting on an answer.
op 'n investigation.
I'm waiting on an investigation.
Hoe betaal ek wat 'n homeowner is wat alleen my huis finance? Hoe betaal ek my huis?
How do I, as a homeowner, that's financing my home alone, how do I pay for my house?
Ek praat van wat aangaan in skole.
People want to talk about what's going on in schools,
Maar niemand vra ooit 'n opvoeder as sy okay nie en
but nobody ever asks the educator, is she okay?
ek kom van 'n punt van 'n opvoeder wat moeg is.
And I come from the point of an educator that's exhausted.
Die werk te doen is so moeilik en ja,
To do the work is so hard.
ons moenie kla nie van ons het opgesign daarvoor,
And yes, we shouldn't complain because we signed up for it.
maar om op die punt
But to get to this point,
geabused te word,
to get to this point and to be abused to this point,
soos wat ek
to be abused to the point to which I've accepted.
ervader wat moeg is. Die werk te doen is so moeilik en ja, ons moenie kla nie van ons het opgesign daarvoor, maar om op die punt geabused te word soos wat ek ervaar het. Die video het 'n slegte intensie, nie die intensie is uit omgee uit vir
My video does not have a bad intention. My intention is out of care for
ouers wie meisiekinders na hierdie skool toe stuur.
My intention is out of care for parents who send young girls to the school
Waar hulle opgevoed gaan word,
where they're going to be educated.
die iemand wat na homself refer toe as papa.
This person who refers to himself as daddy.
Kinders, meisiekinders noem hom papa.
Young girl children name him daddy.
Daddy. Hy require meisiekinders in my klas om voor by hom te sit. Sy
He requires the girls in my class to sit in the front close to him.
meisies moet om hom sit.
The girls need to sit around him.
Is dit nie alarming nie?
Isn't this alarming?
Een van die leerders wie ek onderrig het, eendag wat nie weet wat aangaan het, eendag na my toe gekom en gevra kan sy my iets sê en sy het vir my gesê,
One of the students came up to me and she said, "Can I please ask you something?" And she told me,
"Juffrou, die meneer roep vir my seksie."
"Ma'am, this principal is calling me sexy."
Persoonlik voel ek
Personally, I feel
kinders as nie veilig
that children aren't safe
onder die bestuur van daardie prinsipaal
under to be driven or under the management of this principal,
want sy kan nie jou regte, sy skend jou regte meer as wat sy vir jou regte gee.
because she scants your rights more than she gives you rights.
En alle is nie veilig onder 'n mansmens wat nie
And they are not safe under a man who doesn't,
homself kan beheer, om
who can't control himself.
homself dit van 'n groot vrou nie. Nou wat nog
He can't control himself even around an adult woman. So what?
sy skend jou regte meer as wat sy vir jou regte gee. En alle is nie veilig onder 'n mansmens wat nie homself kan beheer, homself dit van 'n groot vrou nie. Nou wat nog van 'n jong meisiekind toe.
So what about a young girl?
Die is iemand waar kinders kom klaai, praat te veel oor seks in die klas.
This is someone where children come and complain. This man speaks too much about sex in the classroom.
Die is dieselfde persoon wie se slaagpersentasie verskriklik laag is vir
This is the same person whose pass rate is frighteningly low.
geskiedenis. En as
Is frighteningly low in history.
waar kinders kom klaai, praat te veel oor seks in die klas. Die is dieselfde persoon wie se slaagpersentasie verskriklik laag is vir geskiedenis. En as ek die ouers is van Bella, wie se kinders gedryp het en jou kind het geskiedenis,
If I'm one of the parents from Bellar, whose child studies there and who studies history, so let's just look for Bellar. Bellar. Okay. Bellar, South Africa. Okay. Okay, so there's the community. Let's look at the images of it. All right, Bellar. Okay. Looks like they have wedding venues. All right. Okay, cool. Let's just get a picture of what's going on here.
gaan kyk wat gaan aan daar by daai vak.
Just go and have a look at what's going on with that subject.
Word daar op kwaliteit geonderrig. In fact,
Are they getting quality? I'm not sure what onderrig is. Please give me a second. Onderrig. I'm assuming from context that you're saying, I'm not sure if going to ask yourself if there is good education. Onderrig. Just give me a second to translate it. I think it's onderrig. I might under the back. Okay, it might be onderrig. Okay. Unlucky. Hold on. Okay, I'm not sure what she means by onderrig. I'm really sorry.
Toe hy voorkom, 'n Labour Relations Officer het vir my oor die foon gesê, toe wat
When he came forward, because a labor relations officer said to me,
sy kans was om te praat, toe het hy gesê,
when he had a chance to speak, he said
hy was vir my 'n fatherly en 'n mentor figure.
that he was a fatherly and mentor figure to me.
En hy het gedink omdat ons verhouding, ons is so close aan mekaar, dat dit okay sal wees dat hy aan my vat.
I think you basically got the context of that. That he says he thought that because we had such a strong relationship, it'd be okay for him to touch me.
How?
Okay, you got that.
Ek vra 100 keer vir TJ oor die vakansie. As hy by jou werksplek moet doen.
And I've asked TJ 100 times over the holiday or over vacation if you did that at work.
Wat sy net vat aan meisies omdat
Where you just touch girls because
sy voel sy's close met hulle.
you feel you're close to them.
Wat sal gebeur met jou?
What's going to happen to you?
TJ sê my net een woord weg. Maar wat gebeur?
TJ just says one word to me, gone. But what
Ek
happens?
moet doen wat sy net vat aan meisies omdat sy voel sy's close met hulle. Wat sal gebeur met jou? TJ sê my net een woord weg. Maar wat gebeur in die onderwysstelsel? Meisiekinders
But what's happening in a teacher's setting?
is nie veilig nie.
Girls aren't safe.
Die skool is nie functional met
Girls aren't safe and the school is not functional.
daai management nie.
They're not functional with that management.
Daar's nog mense wat uitkyk vir studente.
There are people that are watching for the students. They're watching out, or they're putting out a lookout for the students.
Wat nou net klaar maak met universiteit om te
There are people watching out for the students that have just finished university.
kom ja om in ons plek te kom staan.
So I guess they're university students that have started doing their practicals because a teacher has to do that in order to stand in the place of a teacher. After you've studied out of university, you have to go to schools, right? And apparently these young graduates, the people at the school are on the lookout on their behalf. That's what I'm grasping.
Da. Ons is 10 wat weg is.
10 of us have left.
Vandag was iemand net randomly gebel en gesê
Today somebody just randomly was phoned and told,
kom terug werk toe.
come back to work.
What about us?
Okay, you got that.
What about the rest of us? My ander kollega het 'n huis gekoop.
What about us? What about the rest of us? My other colleague just bought a house.
Laas 'n maand
She just moved in last month.
ingetrek. Laas maand ingetrek. En sy verloor ook haar werk.
And she's losing her job. She just bought a new house and she just moved in last month and she's losing her work.
Guys, die mense kom weg met alles en die mense kan nie wegkom en die
These people get away with everything and they cannot get away with this.
Ek het geskryf, this video is 'n outcry for the injustice towards me. The
I've written as follows.
safety of female colleagues and learners at Symphony High School for entry-level students to be aware of their rights in the workplace and how being sexually harassed and speaking up can cost you your job. Op 'n werk,
What was the high school she mentioned?
ze kan nie wegkom en die nie. Ek het geskryf, this video is 'n outcry for the injustice towards me, the safety of female colleagues and learners at Symphony High School for entry-level students to be aware of their rights in the workplace and how being sexually harassed and speaking up can cost you your job. Op 'n werk, ek is 'n opvoeder met passie wat wil werk. Ek wil
I am an educator with passion and I want to work. I want to work.
werk hier buite.
I want to work out here.
Vandag is dag 2 van by die huis sit.
Today is the second
En-
day of sitting at home. As you know, the school vacation just ended in South Africa.
Wag om te hoor wat is die outcome van die investigation.
I am waiting to hear what the outcome of this investigation is.
En ek kan dit nie meer vat nie.
And I can't take it anymore.
Ek dink aan my kinders by die skool. My
I'm thinking about my kids at school.
kinders kom uit moeilike omstandighede uit.
My children come out of difficult circumstances.
Maar ek was daai bietjie lig vir hulle.
But I was that little bit of light for them.
En ek was fyn om 'n bietjie lig vir my kinders te wees.
And I was fine to be a little bit of light for my kids.
Ek wil hê julle moet verstaan.
I want you to
Waarvan dat ek
understand.
kom. Ek het alles gedoen. Dit is fyn om 'n bietjie lig vir my kinders te wees. Ek wil hê julle moet verstaan.
I want you guys to understand
Waarvan dat ek kom.
where this comes from.
Ek het alles gedoen.
I did everything.
Maar ek wag net. Ek wag. Niemand
I'm waiting.
help nie.
And no one is helping.
Niemand antwoord. Niemand
No one's answering.
sê niks.
No one's saying anything.
My collega's het gesê
One of my colleagues said,
hoe die principal sê sy kyk nie meer op dinge van laas jaar. Sy kyk
the principal said, she's not looking into things from last year.
nie meer op 2024 nie.
She's not looking into 2024.
Maar hier is ek stak as gevolg
But here I am stuck as a result of
van dinge wat gedoen was in 2024.
of things that were done in 2024.
Hoe incompetent sy was in 2024.
How incompetent she was in 2024.
Hoe sy leuns vertel in
How she told lies in 2024. Okay, let's keep going. Vulnerable children are at stake.
2024. Hoe sy 'n mens letterlik sy is deceiving.
How she's deceiving.
Elke dag vir 15 dae het ek na die vrou se kantoor gestap
Every single day for 15 days, I went to her office.
om te vra, nee vrou, is daar nog niks antwoord nie.
Ma'am, is there no answer yet?
Ek is ge-worry.
I'm worried. So she went for 15 days, every single day, to the principal's office to ask, is there no answer? I'm worried.
Die dag wat ek nou eventually die brief kry om te sê ek het nog glad nie meer 'n werkie,
The day that I got a letter to say, you definitely don't have a job,
was ek so geskok, ek was skoon kalm.
I was so shocked. I just went calm.
En ek onthou ek het vir haar gesê ek
And I remember I said to her,
worry oor twee goed, my
I'm worried about two things,
huis en my
house and my kids.
kinders. En wat sê daai vrou vir my?
And what does that woman say to me?
Daai incompetent principal.
That incompetent principal?
Wat so gesê die rede hoekom sy die brief gehou het vanaf die 7de na die 3de Desember was omdat she fought for us.
She said that the reason she held the letter from the 7th of November to the 3rd of December is because, quote, she fought for us.
Ek vir haar sê oor die twee goed wat ek bekommerd is, toe sê sy vir my, juffrou
When
Manus,
I told her about the two things I'm worried about, she said to me,
moenie worry oor jou huisie. Jy kan dit altyd uithuur vir studente.
she said, don't worry about your house. You can always just rent it to the students.
What? What? Are you making plans on my life now? Do you know my needs?
Are you making plans in my life? Do you know my needs? Just in case you didn't understand her accent.
En ek kan nie meer en ek dink net aan al my kollegas wat al
And I just can't handle it anymore. And I think about all my colleagues.
ooit gesuffer het in silence because silence
I think about all my colleagues who suffered in silence because silence
is the worst.
is the worst.
As jy was om rond te loop met 'n storie wat vir jou so afgebreek het en
It's the worst to walk around with a story that broke you so much.
en nog steeds pla.
It's broke you so much and is still bothering you.
They just tell you go to wellness, but nobody ever checked up on Kelly.
They just tell you go to wellness, but no one ever checked up on Kelly.
No labor relations officer came to me to come and check up. Are you still fine working with us, man? Bly hy weg soos hy gesê het hy gaan doen because hy doen nie.
No labor relations officer came to ask all the questions that she just said. And no labor relations officer came to ask, is he staying away from you? Because he isn't staying away from me.
My kinders behel my.
My children phone me.
Dag na dag, juffrou kom juffrou terug.
My children phone me day after day, asking, "Ma'am, are you coming back?"
Juffrou, ek wil nie skool toe kom as juffrou nie gaan wees.
Ma'am, I don't want to come to school if you're not there, ma'am.
This is one of my biggest lessons of 2024. That being a victim in South Africa means you are at loss and the perpetrator wins. He's victorious.
I'm so glad she shared that. I have a similar story, not quite that brutal, and I'm not ready to share. There is such a fear of speaking out. I had a boss that said when I mentioned sexual harassment that there are two sides to every story. It wasn't sexual harassment of me, it was sexual harassment of someone else that confided in me. It took me a while to register what had happened this one time. I used to work for an extramural company. I one day was called and asked, "Can I go and replace somebody at this venue?" And I was fine. A couple of years later, I was told that the man that had been replaced there had been involved in the... Do you remember that scandal with the university, Rhodes University, where the girls started a Facebook group to warn each other about potential sexual harassers? So apparently, from what I understand, those girls were all excluded from university for starting that group, but no one ever looked into the perpetrators. And so then what happened was, one of the parents recognized my colleague that I replaced. They recognized him, and they spoke to the principal of the school, and the principal registered her concern with my boss, and my boss just went ahead and replaced him with me, and then he was just placed in other schools. So it's not quite as brutal a story. She did talk to him, and apparently she defended him, and she said, because it is a serious claim, and he did admit that he had sometimes been with drunk girls, from what I understand, that the consent was quite grey area. So he confessed that part. That is the story as she told it to me. It took a while to register, before I quit. I was like, wait, it took a while for me to click what I was hearing. So as I said, it's not as brutal, but I do know what it's like to have a boss, and a female boss who is someone who empowers these kinds of situations, and one who doesn't take sexual harassment seriously. Oh yeah, I'll tell you the story about that boss one day. Thank you so much. And I just want to say thank you. I believe her name is Kelly Manis. Thank you for sharing. I have now shared your story on my YouTubes. It is up for the law and the people to decide what's going to happen. But I believe her. I believe that in my soul. No one's such a good actress. I am a professional actress. Nobody has that kind of technique. Okay? So thank you for joining. This has been Nuanced with Nikki, the nitty gritty, even if it's shitty. Yeah.